What's up, guys? Commander Jaime here, and holy shit, we got a shit ton of news for the next couple of sets. Specifically, I'm going to talk about Aqua. It's my first thoughts on the ZR announcement so far, and we got a Blue Wave unit announced as well. So let's just go over the Blue Wave unit first, and then I'll go into more in detail with the ZR stuff. So basically, we got a grade 1 for Blue Wave now. What I don't like already is that it's a 6k base, but I guess we'll see what it does. GB1, Soul Blast 1, return this card to the hand. Kind of like Seagull, bounces back. When your Blue Wave Vanguard stands, you may pay the cost. If you pay, choose one of your Blue Wave units. During that turn, it gets +4. That's I don't know what to say really, because like I was trying to think of plays that synergize very well with this card. Not only to for the entire deck, and then your early game is important. So the GB1 does hurt. To put it in plain terms, it has to fight with Seagull Soldier. Seagull Soldier gives +3 to cards like Tidal, Fuegos, and so on, making your grade 2 early game and your grade 3 early game aggressive. You have Stride Fighter you have to compete, and you have Plato as well. And then I tech myself Orpheus still. For that, I think the problem with it also is that it's when the Vanguard stands. So if we really think about it, when does our Vanguard stand? And it stands at the end of our 4th battle. So that means units usually like Fuegos would have been done attacking by then. So it's not like you can like use this unit to power up a Fuegos, because at that point you're past the 3rd wave, so it's not gonna restand to get the double the benefit. Plus you're making numbers better with Damia, which, you know, Soul Blast 1 +2 to 2 units in herself. So it's kind of tough to like make those numbers better before the actual restand. What's kind of cool though, if you read it as is, it sounds like if she's on the field and then when your turn starts, you technically stand your units, which includes your Vanguard. So I think the skill would trigger if, of course, you have GB1 active at least. So you can probably get actually a use right away from that. But you also have to make sure you have some kind of Blue Wave unit on the field, and I think that's another thing that hurts it too. I mean, we have Fuegos, which kind of is out of the question unless we proc it right when a turn starts. But the other grade 2s that come in mind is like Tidal Assault. You can play techs as well. Techs like High Tide Sniper, Magnum Assault. They're gonna lose out on this power boost. So you're forced to pick cards like Fuegos, your grade 3 Blue Waves, and as of the moment, we don't play any of the grade 1 Blue Wave units because they're not that great right now. So I think the interaction you can try to do is have some like maybe like for your 6th battle or your 7th battle, depending on what you have, you can power up the other column that may have a Blue Wave unit, and that could be your grade 3 or another grade 2 that just is kind of vanilla. So giving it the +4 may help in that case. So if you have an 11k grade 3 Blue Wave with a booster that's 7k, that's 18 plus a 4 makes it a 22k column. That I can see. Decent. If we do like a regular 9k, that's 16 plus 4, making it 20, which is short. So you have to like combo it with a Malika, a Seagull Soldier, or even a Damia. But that brings up the conversation where like you could have Damia in the other column as well, so making her 11, and if she procs twice, then she'll be 13 plus 4, 17. 17 plus a 7k booster, that's 24. So decent numbers, but I don't know if that's worth it, because you're already Soul Blasting 2 for Damia in that turn, and you'll be Soul Blasting for Scoop Sailor, and that doesn't mean that you've already used the Soul Blast for Seagull Soldier for the early game. So these are all the things that come to mind when I'm like looking at this card. So the only thing that I think gets value out of it is the Blue Wave name. So if you want to make a full Blue Wave deck, this could help with achieving that name, which is at the moment only important for cards like Lucianos, where they do a special counterblasting. But we have to see what they'll give us in the next set coming up in GBT 13. Maybe this will be bonkers with another card coming out. It's hard to tell right now if this actually is hot garbage or actually viable or actually really good when a new card comes out that just does a nutty interaction. I don't know if Aqua Force, or at least in Blue Wave, will get a restandard that restands before the third battle is achieved, because then this card could go off early on and at least give Fuevos some power to go off from there. And so with the whole Anger Boil skill though, you rely on your Vanguard attack in the second battle, so then that way your Fuevos is 14k by himself. And then of course if you had some other boost from another card hits the threshold, this card has to see the Vanguard stand is the problem. If this one was when the Vanguard attacks, I think it will be a lot better. That way you can get this timing off at least once with Fuevos to make it a bigger number. But it's kind of cool that it actually does bounce to that, so we also have to account for that. Maybe we want to disappear in field, but I mean we have Sequel Soldier that does that already, so I don't know. So if you guys know of any other plays that I think that make this card worth it, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely, as the new reveals come into play, I will try to bring this card up to see if it actually becomes more viable than what it is. Then again, we don't want to say this is hot garbage or anything like that, but it's too early to say so, you know what I mean? So I like to be fair with these cards reveals to see if they end up synergizing better than we thought they would, and if they are actually useful for whatever purpose that we want to use them, right? A good example is Luciano's for the control matchup, you know? Doesn't work with the Anger Boil skill. So that's that for the Scoop Sailor. The other announcements we got was the ZR stuff. Let's see if I can get to it. There's a lot of stuff that was announced. Well, actually, there's Aqua Force diffrider. Yeah, that's gonna be freaking epic. So he is the fleet admiral who fell into the void of extinction. He has, I guess, two names, Varios or Valios. So this is supposedly in the lore probably the admiral that trained Maelstrom, or was at least pre-Maelstrom. So the lore says that he is very strong and was sealed away because of his sense of justice. So in a sense that he can be viewed as a bad guy, which in this case he is an apostle, they call it. So maybe he's just a different, you know, he has a different view of justice, right? And that may not be, you know, what justice means to us. So that's why he may be seen as a villain. So I hope he can bring something good to the clan, something different, something more powerful. Aqua Force is not really in the greatest state right now. I mean, it's a tier 2-ish kind of deck right now. And I mean, Grand Blue right now, it's in a better state than Aqua Force is. And Bermuda, at least with Prisms, is also alongside with Flavas and Blue Wave, and to an extent Ripples, and yeah, of that sort. So I really hope that this character brings something fresh, something good, that way that Aqua Force can become more viable. And I like to play it, you know, I want to play it in a competitive tournament. I want to actually top with it. You know, I top with Blue Waves. I like to top with more different variants of Aqua Force if I could, you know, Thawas for example, or Ripples or whatever. This guy can bring that to the table, right? So let's hope for that, right? Oh, here it is. So the Forbidden G units, Xeroth Dragons. So the one that we care about is the Xeroth Dragon of Distant Seas, Megiddo or Megiddo. I don't know how you say it, but let's just say Distant Seas. But point is, there are nation restricted. Megalonica, all the clans from there can use it. Bermuda, Grand Blue, and of course Aqua Force. So they're saying that each of these nations is gonna get one, and there's gonna be basically something called Ultimate Stride. I don't think it's on this page, or is it later on? But oh yeah, on here they say Aqua Force, Bermuda, and Grand Blue can use this. And there's also the rarity Z Rare, which I'll probably invest into one because I like shininess and water. But yeah, so they have an opportunity here to make something game breaking with these units, especially if they're like weapons from the born from the dragon deity of destruction geese or geese. I have no idea how to say it, but this is something maybe that could be GB6, GB10, GB8. I have no idea, but something that of that power. The fact that all these clans in that nation can use it could mean something really busted, or it can vary for clan to clan. An example, maybe it has a skill that varies depending on what heart the clan is from. You know what I mean? So if you have an Aqua Force heart, then you can do this. Where if you had a Grand Blue heart, then you could do this. You know, Grand Blue brings back units from the drop. Aqua Force does a lot of attacks to achieve stronger abilities. Bermuda likes to bounce in the hand units and stuff back and forth and call them too. So that could vary, or it could introduce something totally different that the clans don't do, and make them stronger in a sense. And then on top of that, they can also have an additional skill that maybe it has the same skill for everything, and then the additional skill is like a little toppings to the cake, as you can say, or whatever, depending on what clan your heart is from. So those sort of thoughts come to mind. What I really hope is that we don't get the shit end of the stick, because there's 6 of these G units that are going to be used, and if we got like the shittiest one, then we're shit out of luck, and that means all those 3 clans, Bermuda, Grand Blue, and Aqua, are gonna be behind of that sense, that ultimate stride thing. So let's hope for the best for our water clans, and hope the Seas of Cray are gonna be something to wreck with. Definitely want to keep playing water. So yeah. So let me know if you guys have any comments, any ideas, or any opinions about the other grade. Like I said, I like to give it an opportunity to see what new stuff comes out, and maybe we get some better interactions to make the card actually good or viable. So yeah, remember, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Alright, see ya guys.